Hello.
Then, now,
Showdown to the queens.
Episode number 500.
forever.
Looks like hell froze over.
Without any more further ado,
Together.
let's jump straight into the show. Hello, welcome to episode number 68 of the TEW IX Challenge Run. We're here for SmackDown for the 15th of November 2024. And yeah. Last week we saw the crowning of new WWE Tag Team Champions. Pretty Deadly cashed in their Tag Team Money in the Bank briefcase to take the championships from the Motor City Machine Guns after they just took them from Shark KO. We also have tonight a 6-woman tag team match as the Royal Dynasty face off against Fatal Influence. And in our main event, Io Sky is back in action. She takes on Queen of Omega's Saya Kamatani. And a whole lot more. So yeah, without any more further ado, let's jump straight into the show. We start the show. Tonya Breeze is in the ring, dressed to the nines. She's got balloons and all sorts around her. Says, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the biggest, prettiest WWE SmackDown of all time." You see, last week was a changing of the guard for Friday Night SmackDown because for years this tag team division has been held down by ugly men after ugly men after ugly men. But now, for the very first time, we can take pride and be happy that we finally have a pair of gorgeous WWE Tag Team Champions, history-making WWE Tag Team Champions. Because last week in the main event here on Friday Night SmackDown, we saw the first ever Tag Team Money in the Bank cash-in, which led to your new WWE Tag Team Champions, Kit Wilson, Elton Prince, Pretty Deadly. Out they come with their belts, you know, as only Pretty Deadly can. They do a side plate check and all that shit. And they get into the video. "Oh, Tonya, that was such a warm welcome, you know, I'm flattered. You know, it's always great to, you know, someone like you by our side. You know, you've been useful for us ever since we first came together. And now we stand here, finally, WWE Tag Team Champions, you know. We've been Tag Team Champions everywhere we've gone. NXT UK, check them off. NXT, check them off. And now here on SmackDown, check them off. Yes, boy. Because, Tonya, that you put it great. You said we are the prettiest WWE Tag Team Champions of all time. I think we might also be the best. You know, everybody around here, this whole division is now chasing us. You've got Motor City Machine Guns, who are supposed to be a big deal. Beat them. Randy Orton's in this tag team division. We beat him. So as far as I'm concerned, there's nobody back there who can hold a candle to us. And Tony goes, "Well, boys, I say we get the celebration started because not only are you the tag team champions, I've got you something even bigger, perhaps. You know that musical you guys have been wanting to produce? Well, I finally got you in contact with one of the stars of the greatest musicals of all time, High School Musical." And then she plays a cameo message from Vanessa Hudgens on the Titantron. Go, "Oh my god, you finally got Vanessa. Is she here? Is she here tonight?" And Tony's like, "No, she's not here tonight, boys. I'm sorry. I couldn't go that far. But I did email the Pretty Deadly musical script to Lin-Manuel Miranda. And oh my god, Miranda's read our script. So when's it getting made?" She went, "I haven't heard back from him. I'm not even sure if he got it, but I sent it to him." I'm like, well, I'm sure we'll hear back from him one day." That's when the Hurt Business come out. And, you know, the contrast here is staggering. You got Tonya Breeze and Pretty Deadly on one side wearing, you know, what they'd wear, and then just the Hurt Business in suits. Actually, probably not in suits, because Damon Kemp and Ronnie Hughes do have a match coming up next, so they're probably in gear. But MVP, Lashley, and Ricochet are in suits. And MVP sort of, like, looks around in disgust at this. He went, "Evening, boys. Last week I saw your successful cash-in of the Tag Team Money in the Bank briefcase." I went, "Yeah, you did. You know, two of the greatest tag teams here on SmackDown today, beaten by us. You know, what's new? So what brings you out here tonight, MVP, huh? You want to get a part of this pretty deadly celebration action? Because we can pull you up a chair. There's no way. I don't want any part of a celebration, actually, Kit. It's fine. What I want is our thank you. Because you're very damn right, last week you did beat the Motor City Machine Guns, one of the most influential tag teams of this generation. But you didn't beat them one-on-one, did you? You beat them because the Hurt Business did what we do best, and we weighed their asses out. Because we hurt people, and we hurt Alex Shelley, we hurt Chris Sabin, we hurt Randy Orton, we hurt Ilya Dragunov. And then you could slide in there with that pretty bedazzled briefcase of yours and become the tag team champions. So, you're welcome for the assist. And Alan's like, yeah. Yeah, sure, no problem. You know, thanks, MVP. And he goes, so I was thinking, since we played such a big part in you becoming the WWE Tag Team Champions last week, it would only be fitting if the first shot at that was gold went to, say, Primetime Ronnie Hughes and the Lethal Weapon Damon Kemp of the Hurt Business. And they're like, ooh, actually, I'm not sure. I don't know how this whole being champions thing works around here. You know, back when we were champions before, you know, people had to earn opportunities and we can't just hand them out to you. And then MVP sort of like gets in their face and he goes, it wasn't a request. It was a demand. And then, you know, Bobby Lashley sort of back pretty deadly up against the corner and they're like, we heard you, MVP. It's just that, hey, look over there. Like, nobody looks behind them. Like, oh my god, it's the New Day behind you. Because you think we're going to fall for that dumbass shtick? And then, by surprise, the New Day are behind the Hurt Business. And they attack the Hurt Business. They get into a brawl with the Hurt Business. And pretty deadly escape up the ramp with their belts, avoiding being able to, you know, be challenged by MVP for the tag titles. But that does lead to the first match of the night, which will be Big E and Kofi Kingston taking on Damon Kemp and Ronnie Hughes. But first, we have to cut backstage. And Kayla Braxton says, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guests at this time. They are 4 of the women that will enter War Games next Saturday night at Survivor Series in Detroit. Queendom Alphas, Io Sky, Ember Moon, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. Okay, it says, Io, tonight you'll take part in your first match since SummerSlam. You take on Queendom Omega's Saya Kamatani. You know, a member that was added to the group under Cammy and not under your watch. So I'm sure you want a lot to prove tonight. But also, more importantly than tonight, we have Survivor Series coming up. And currently, Queendom Alpha is a woman down over Queendom Omega with their 5 competitors compared to your 4. So if you had any thought on who you want to add as your 5th member of the group. And Ember's like, Kayla, we've thought long and hard about who our 5th member could be. Because, let's be real, it's not hard to find women on this roster that have got issues with Queendom. Just ask anybody who, you know, has faced off against Cammy and had to, you know, listen to her yap on for the last year and a half. So, we don't know any specifics, but tonight, we look to, you know, get our final competitor locked in tonight. And there are a lot of different options that we're all going to go off and, you know, try and see people, you know, see if they're interested in joining the team. I'm sure by the end of the night we will have our final member, but that's not going to matter because we don't need anybody else out there when the Genius of the Sky faces off against Queendom Omega's Saya Kamatani, because she may be a talented worker, Saya, but she's no Genius of the Sky. And then Io's like, tonight, the next crack in their armor is opened. $76, sure. But it is the Hurt Business who pick up the win here over the New Day. Damon Kemp pins Kofi Kingston in 13 minutes and 7. 61 for Damon Kemp, 74 for Ronnie Hughes, 84 for Big E, 85 for Kofi Kingston. And yeah, nice win for the Hurt Business in tag team action here over Big E and Kofi, one of the greatest tag teams of all time. So yeah, that should, you know, Pretty Deadly were talking about having to earn opportunities at the Gold. That should put them in good standing, considering who they beat. We then cut to commercial. And when we come back, the Hurt Business are gassing, MVP's gassing the boys up because, there we have it, okay? This tag team division, it ain't shit, okay? Because we're the Hurt Business and we dominate any division we're a part of. Now those Pretty Deadly boys, they ain't gonna hold those titles for very long because we've already got our targets marked on their back because they stole those championships. And soon, we'll have them back. And then Adam Pearce, goes, evening, gentlemen, very interesting start to SmackDown, if I do say so myself. I wasn't expecting to see you guys out there in that Pretty Deadly celebration to kick off the evening. And he goes, well, consider it your honor, Adam Pearce, that your biggest stars of the Hurt Business made their mark out there. And then Randy Orton and Ilya Dragunov do walk in. And they go, so Pearce, what's the status? When are we getting our rematch for our tag team championships? And then the Mercy Machine Guns, appear the other side of Pearce, and they go, well, Randy, stop being so fast, because last time I checked, Pretty Deadly beat us to become the tag team champions, so we should get our tag team championship opportunity rematch as well. And FP goes, man, why don't you shut your dumb ass up? You held the tag team champions for, 5 minutes? You don't deserve a rematch. And Pearce goes, gentlemen, I know exactly what we're going to do. Next week, we'll determine the new number 1 contenders for the WWE Tag Team Championships when the Hurt Business, KO, and the Motor City Machine Guns face off in triple threat tag team action. It is official. And he walks off. And then they all sort of disperse and go their own separate ways when we see in the background, Kyrie's talking to Raquel, and then the camera focuses on them as all the men leave. And Raquel is like, Kyrie, I know that we've had our success as a team before, and you felt your best teaming with me and now with Ember, but this whole Queendom stuff, it's beyond me. As much as I would love to step into War Games with you, this fight doesn't really concern me, and to be honest, with the way SmackDown is right now, I don't really want it to concern me. So thank you for coming to me and asking, but the answer is no. And Raquel walks away, and Kyrie sort of looks disappointed because Raquel said no to joining Queendom Alpha. We then see Thea Hale approach Haley and Hams backstage. And she goes, wow, Haley, last week I never thought me and you would face off, especially under these circumstances. And he goes, yeah, it was fight, but I came up short for you. Thea goes, I know you did. That's why I'm trying to get ahead to you girls. I know you don't want to be in this learning tree BS, but even being there, subconsciously, it's fucking with your mind. Haley, you and I, we were great together. And I'm finding form and momentum, on Heat and here on SmackDown when I'm away from this learning tree orbit. Perhaps it'd be better for you two to do the same thing. And then Haley goes, we actually do have a tag team match tonight because, Hams came up short when she tried to reunite with Morgan, because obviously because Morgan's a bitch now. But he wants to see how we do together. And Thea goes, well, I do hope you win, obviously, but if you lose, what's really lost here? You disappoint Jericho. Who cares? Eight-rated 6-woman tag. The Royal Dynasty and Fatal Influence. It is Fatal Influence who pick up the win. They pin Ariana Grace, or Zelina Vega does with a moonsault. After Ava Raine accidentally hits Ariana. There's some weird miscommunication between the Royal Dynasty here that leads to Fatal Influence picking up the win. 71 for Ava, 67 for Ariana, 86 for Charlotte, 65 for all 3 members of Fatal Influence. I keep picking who I have wrestle, but according to this, they're all just as good as each other, which actually feels weird because I swear when I formed the group, Selena was so far ahead. Oh, I know what happened. It's because she was the most over, but before she joined Fatal Influence, I think she jobbed to Fallon. So, she must have lost some of her popularity, which gave Fallon some... So, they are probably all about even now, yeah. But yes, Zelina Vega pins Ariana Grace, and there was a little bit of miscommunication between her and Ava Raine here tonight. We then cut to Becky. Her and Lyra pull up outside. Becky storms in. I can imagine how it is, the SUV pulls up, tinted windows and all. Becky steps out. She's got both the belts over her shoulder. She storms in. She doesn't even wait for Lyra. Like, Lyra's like, you see her like 2 or 3 feet behind her, like just trying to catch up to her. And she storms up to Shayna Baszler and Carmella's locker room. She doesn't even knock. She just opens the door, just interrupts. She goes, well, there they are. And then Carmella goes, well, that was rude. You ever heard of knocking? And Becky goes, what could you possibly be doing in here that's more important than me? Nothing. Okay, so I heard what you were saying about me. You can't keep Becky Stardust's name out of your mouth, and I understand that, because if I wasn't me, I'd be all I talk about anyway. And then Carmella's like, you are you, and you're all you talk about anyway. She goes, zip it. So, our little birdie, not this one, told me that you thought we were scared to defend. I was scared to defend my tag team championships against you. And Shayna goes, well, actually, what we said was you were scared to defend them against Cora and Roxy, but if the boot fits. But he goes, I didn't think you'd be the one talking, Shayna. Because, do you not remember last time we faced off and I beat you and I killed all your momentum dead? And you could only become champion because I went off to create life? Being a one-time mama, I'm a 2-time mother now, of course. Shayna goes, that was 4 years ago, Becky. We've all changed since then. And you don't think it would give me satisfaction to win my first championship since returning to WWE by doing it against you, ripping your arm off and shoving it down your throat? He goes, I'm sure it would, Shayna, but come on now. Let's be real here. If you really want these tag team championships from me, I just spoke to the guy who runs this place. And then come as like, what, Nick Aldis? And then Becky just turns to her and goes, is he bald? And then she's like, no, that's Adam Pearce. That guy. And we've struck an agreement. If you want to challenge me for my women's tag team championships, we can't do it tonight because we're fresh off a defense a couple of days ago. And I've not got my gear with me. But you can do it on, I can't believe I'm saying this, Becky Stardust on Heat, but you're SmackDown, I'm Raw. We can do this on a neutral field. Come to Heat on Monday night. And you can challenge me for my tag team championships. Bird Girl will be there too, of course. And Shayna goes, great. Can't wait for it. So yeah, for the first time in a while, a big match is set for Heat. Like we're announcing a Heat match in advance. Becky and Lyra will defend the tag team championships against Carmella and Shayna Baszler on that show. We then cut back. We see Charlotte, Ariana Grace, and Ava Raine. Charlotte's frustrated. She goes, I can't believe we came up short. We lost to them. Fatal influence. They think they run the place. They think they are me. And maybe after tonight, maybe they are. What do I know anymore, apparently. And Ariana's like, Charlie. Like, again, she's whispering, but like it's one of those like really loud whispers where everybody can still clearly hear what she's saying. She's like curly fingers are in to like lean in. Charlotte does lean in. She goes, I don't mean to point fingers, but I think tonight it was very clearly Ava's fault that we lost that match, not yours or mine. And Ava goes, you know I can hear everything you've said, right? And you know I've been hearing everything Charlotte's been saying recently, about Dakota having friends and how friends in this industry just be around to be used. Is that all we are to you? And Charlotte's like, no, of course not, Ava. She went, you know what? Screw friends. I don't need friends. I quit. And then Charlotte's like, you quit the Royal Dynasty? You quit. Come on, shit. This, SmackDown, Royal Dynasty. I don't need friends, okay? I've got plenty of other people around me. She just sort of storms off. And then Ariana's like, Ava! She turns to Charlotte, just shakes her head and goes, I don't think she's coming back. Charlotte goes, nah. Good for her, I guess. And they walk off. And then we see Ember Moon and Shotzi chatting in the background. And Ember goes, I'm just saying, you know, last time you were here on the main roster on SmackDown, you and I, we were the tag team champions. We were a great tag team. And you fancy running those years back in War Games next Saturday night? She goes, look, you know me. I love nothing more than to be locked inside a steel cage with all those weapons and the chance to, you know, take the heads off all these women. But you know, myself, Aoi, and Mako, we still have unfinished business with Fatal Influence. So if it's not those girls in the ring opposite us inside War Games, then what's the point? And then because you said yourself, carnage, fun, you enjoy all that shit. And Shotzi's like, I'd love to team with you, Ember, but I don't think the circumstances. And they all walk off, and I'm just, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you just said all you care about is being in War Games, and now you're 76 rated tag match. Aussie Open against the Labyrinth, and of course the Miz gets involved. He like trips up the legs of one of the members of the Labyrinth. I guess Nathan Kelly, he's the one who got pinned, allowing Kyle and Rogers to pin him in 9 minutes and 7. 75 for Nathan Kelly, 60 for Drake Chambers, 69 for Kyle and Rogers, 65 for Brad Sawyer. So yeah, nice win for Aussie Open. The Labyrinth, they looked like they had this match won, but the Miz stuck his nose in because they had the nerve to reject his advances last week. We then cut back to Dakota in her locker room. Candice walks in. Candice is wearing her ring gear. Dakota isn't. And Johnny Gargano is with Candice. She goes, hey Dakota, you know, what do you think? She sort of like holds up gear in her hand. She goes, I don't know, it's not really your style. She went, of course it's not, it's yours. You know, Johnny got us, you know, matching tag team gear now, you know. And to make it even better, tonight we've got a tag team match up there, so get your new gear on and we can rock it. Dakota goes, tag match tonight, you and I. She goes, well, what's the problem? She goes, there's not a problem, Candice. You know, in fact, it probably would do me a lot of good to get back out in the ring. You know, I haven't wrestled since Auckland, and you know, I probably need to, you know, get back in there. Maybe the best way to get back into the game is to dive straight into the deep end, you know. And then she obviously goes off with the gear. And then Johnny goes, anyway, I've got a match against, you know, Javon Evans, that speed champion. You know, he's here on SmackDown tonight. And I'm going to give him a nice showcase here on SmackDown. And it should be a great time. Cass goes, yeah, good luck, Johnny. She goes, you too tonight. And then they sort of like hug. And then Johnny Gargano leaves. We then catch up with the Labyrinth, annoyed about their loss, when the Miz, you know, he walks up, sarcastically clapping. He goes, well, what did I see out there tonight? I saw two young, hungry competitors looking to break through in this tag team division lose. And why did they lose? Why did they lose, Miz? And then they just turn and go, because of you. You're like, yes, that's the exact attitude I wanted to hear. You lost because of me. Because last week I came to you and I offered my services out to you and you rejected it and now you've lost. What does that tell you? And then Nick is like, that you screwed us, Miz. That's what it tells us. Because, you know, screwed isn't really the word I'd use. I'd more so say that your mind was too focused on the awful decision you made to reject my situation last week that it threw you off your game. But I'll allow it. Stuff like that happens in this industry, especially when you've got growing pains, you know. So allow me again to offer to guide you to the top. And then Nick is like, man, you've lost your mind. You think we didn't see you out there screw us in that match? Mitch goes, I was just trying to help. You know, because I'm a Grand Slam champion, WrestleMania main event, and WrestleMania main event winner, beating John Cena, mind you. What have you ever done? And then they just kind of go, well, we were NXT Tag Team Champions. We did that without your help. So I think to get Tag Team Championship, go back, we can do that alone as well. Thanks for nothing, Miz. William Regal, he's in Gorilla with Charlie Dempsey. And Kayla goes, "Hey gentlemen, Mr. Regal with Charlie Dempsey. Dempsey will go one-on-one with Carmelo Hayes coming up next." And Regal goes, "You know, Kayla, last week I knew exactly who I could call when my protege, my friend Daniel Bryan, was in need for an extra man for his Survivor Series team. I knew there was one kid I could count on to get the job done. My kid. See, Charlie Dempsey, for those of you who may not remember him, he is my son. He is an expert in the British style of professional wrestling, very similar to the one expertised by Pete Dunne of the Dragon's Dojo. So Charlie Dempsey can go to bat with the rest of the best of them. And tonight, Carmelo Hayes, he's a former world champion, former Mr. Money in the Bank. It's going to be a tough match for Charlie. Win, lose, or draw, this is a learning experience for him. And just getting him the opportunity to be in there with Carmelo Hayes ahead of Survivor Series should get his head in the right place. We then get that match, Carmelo Hayes and Charlie Dempsey. Gets a 79. Sure, I'll take that for Charlie Dempsey's first match. I think he was briefly in the Regal Coalition. Like, there was a SmackDown branch of the Regal Coalition. I think it was him and the Grizzled Young Vets and maybe someone else. But his last main roster run didn't last very long. He didn't have many matches. So this is effectively his main roster debut, even though it isn't actually. But Carmelo Hayes does win. He cheats to beat Charlie Dempsey, which, you know, he lost, but a former world champion has cheated to beat him, so it's fine. 92 for Carmelo Hayes, 53 for Charlie Dempsey. And yeah, that continues the build to Survivor Series, where it will be Hayes teaming with the Dragon's Dojo against Daniel Bryan, Miles Bourne, the Creed Brothers, and Charlie Dempsey. We then cut to Sami Zayn in Nick Aldis' office. So I'm saying, Nick, Ricochet, this isn't him. This isn't the same Ricochet I've known all these years. Okay, something's different about that guy now. I really, really don't like him. He's kind of obnoxious and kind of a nerd. But I need to get my hands on him. And I know the Hurt Business, they only wrestle for championships. Championships is their MO. So, if I want Ricochet one-on-one next week, I'll want to put my championship on the line to do it. And Nicholas goes, "Well, that's a bold claim, Sammy. But I'll see to it. I'll go talk to Pierce. We'll make that official. Next week, Sami Zayn, Ricochet for the United States Championship here on SmackDown." Then see the New Day backstage. Xavier Woods, he's sort of like pissed off, he's angry at the Hurt because we tried to get the jump on them Hurt Business. Okay, there's just too many of them, okay? And now, I'm the World Heavyweight Champion around here, I should be calling the shots around here. But you boys, I expect better from the New Day, We're approaching 10 years together at this point, and we don't rush into things recklessly. That's not what we do. We made a misfire tonight. And then Swerve just walks and goes, "Yeah, you did. Now listen, Woods. Obviously, you beat me at SummerSlam to become the World Heavyweight Champion. Fair and square. So obviously something you were doing that night was right. And obviously when you beat Drew McIntyre, something you were doing was right that night too. And again, in Auckland when you beat me, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley. But tonight, I didn't like the Xavier Woods I saw. Like you said, reckless. What are you doing rushing in there? If you're going to team with us..." Oh, because Bronson Reed is there as well, of course. At Survivor Series, we need to have the best version of the New Day we possibly can. Because if not, the Hurt Business and Drew, they're going to eat your ass alive. I don't know if I can take all 5 of them on by myself. So, I trust the World Heavyweight Champion is locked in and ready to go. But what about these two? Are they locked in and ready to go? Or are they dead weight? And Woods like, "Don't you dare talk about Kofi and E like that, okay? They're not dead weight, okay? Well, we're locked in. It's fine, it's good. We'll see you next weekend." And Swerve just laughs and goes, "For your sake, I hope they are. Because it's your problem and mine if they're not." And he walks off. And Kofi's like, "Man, screw that guy. He's a bit of an asshole." And Woods goes, "He is. But he does make some good points." 70-rated tag match. The Haley and Hams tag team match is the aforementioned women's tag match against Dakota and Candice. So obviously they win. Candice pinning Haley Poole with the Wicked Stepsister PK combo. 84 for both Candice and Dakota. 74 for Hams, 50 for Haley. And yeah, nice win for Dakota and Candice to get Dakota back in the game. Also Candice as well. I don't know if she's wrestled since she lost the rematch to the Megasis. But yeah, to get them back in the game because they haven't really been wrestling a lot. Dakota's been wallowing in her self-pity. And they probably actually do shake hands with Haley and Hams before they leave as well. But that's when the learning tree comes out. And he gets into the ring. Hams and Haley defeated. He just looks down at him. He shakes his head and he goes, "Hi guys. So tonight was a big lesson. The biggest lesson ever taught in Learning Tree University. And you know what that is? That's don't listen to people who've quit the Learning Tree. You see, these two losers on the floor right here listened to things that Thea Hale said to them earlier on tonight. The same Thea Hale who didn't have the cojones and the brain to survive in Learning Tree University, so quite frankly, she's nothing to even listen to. And they listened to her, and they lost. A big fat L on their record to show for it, and more importantly, a big fat L on my record to show for it. Now, you, and pointing at Hams, he goes, "I tried to put you back with Morgan. You blew that. You," pointing at Haley, he goes, "you took on the rebellious ex-member of the Learning Tree and lost. You blew that, and now you blew this tonight. I don't understand what Mr. Chase ever saw in you. Because, quite frankly, you're pathetic." Then Haley snatches the mic off Jericho and she goes, "You know what, Chris? Do you know what Mr. Chase saw in us? Potential, heart, love, family, all these things that Chase University was and all these things that your crappy ripoff never will be. I get it. You're a legend in this industry. You've done this, this, and this. But man, are you one hell of a shitty teacher. So, we've got options. We can sit back and we can try and cling on to a corpse of a university that we once loved that'll never be coming back. Or we can do something about it. Sayonara, Jericho. I quit." She slams the mic down. And storms up. Thea Hale comes down to the top of the ramp and just watches on, smiles as Haley comes and stands by her side. And then Ham slowly picks up the mic in the ring as well. And Jericho glares at her. She went, "Don't you dare. If you know what's best for you, don't you dare." And she's like, "I..." And the crowd's going, "Yes, yes, 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 yes." And Chris is just staring at her, shaking her head, going, "Don't you dare. Quit." Big pop. She drops the microphone down and she leaves. And Jericho just stands there and goes, You losers. You don't have the mentality to succeed here in the Learning Tree University. We only want winners, okay? I never even wanted you three on my books. I just sort of took you in because the last school who wasted all their time trying to get you better went out of business. And it's never, ever coming back. We then cut back to Dakota and Candice, in the hallway after their win. She went, "See, I told you, getting back out there would be all I needed, I'm feeling it, I've got I've got Utami, Saturday night's main event, I'm going to get my championship back, Maybe this whole tag team thing was a good idea, because, it gets me back out into the ring without, rushing me back into it before I may be ready. Candice goes, "See, I've got your best interests at heart." Then Johnny Gargano's there warming up outside their locker room. Dakota goes into us, "Anyway, I've got to change. See you in a bit." And then her and Gargano sort of hug. She goes, "Hey, match coming up next, right?" He goes, "Yeah. This kid, I've heard all about his talent. And, it's the sort of opportunity I was hoping for back when I was in NXT. And we never got. So tonight, let's see what this kid's all about." And then he leaves. Candice watches Johnny leave. And then Dakota just I've got to go. Candice just smiles. She turns around to get back in the locker room, but Asuka stood in front of the door. Candice's like, "Oh, Asuka, how are you? How have you been? You know, I see you left Queendom. You're probably for the best." And Ember goes, "Excellent point. You know, Asuka, she came here because we were racking our brains about who the 5th member of Team Queendom Alpha could be at War Games, and we were thinking, who really hates Queendom and Cammy? And naturally, we thought of you. So, Candice, what do you say?" And Candice sort of just like, for a couple of seconds, just stares blankly at Ember and Asuka. And she starts smiling and laughing and goes, "Oh, oh, you're serious. You want me to join your War Games team? Listen here, okay. You're right. I appreciate that when you thought of people who hated Queendom, I was the first person who came to mind because that group only exists to spite me, to be quite frank. And I would love nothing more than to help kill it. But I have to question you two. Okay? Because you're not looking to kill Queendom next weekend. You're looking to reskin Queendom. You have fallen in line, teaming with the same woman who held this division hostage for a year. The mastermind of Queendom, the ace of Queendom, Mrs. Queendom herself. When EO was the world champion here on SmackDown, it was the worst time for everybody else in this division. And for EO to gain power, that can't happen again. And you are enabling her by standing by her side, despite the fact that, you know, she hasn't changed. So, you want my answer? Would I happily team with you two to kill Queendom? Absolutely. But I wouldn't be teaming with you. I'd be sacrificing everything I believe in to help give power back to a monster, a dictator, who doesn't deserve it. So thanks, but no thanks. And she slams the door shut behind them. And Ember Moon goes, "Well, that was something, huh? Didn't expect that." $83. Sure. That's actually sick. What's that? Oh, Johnny Gargano made Javon Evans look particular. I've never seen that note in this game. I saw it a couple times in 2020, but like, yeah, I didn't know if it was even still in here, but it is. Good job, Johnny. You actually did what this match in story was. But yes, Johnny Gargano does defeat Javon Evans. 12 minutes and 15 with a Hertz Donut. 85 for Gargano, 66 for Javon. And yeah, obviously, after the match, they shake hands. Gargano raises Javon's hand. Javon leaves. Gargano is celebrating when, bang, a steel chair to the back by the hands of the Golden Prophet, Angelo Dawkins. He continues to rain chair shots down on Johnny Gargano backstage, in the ring after the match. You know, referees and road agents and medics run out as Johnny just keeps getting assaulted by the chairs. Dawkins, like, sits the chair down, like, you know, like, pulls the seat out like that, and he hits that big sky-high spine buster on Gargano on it. And like, he goes, "You want to run your mouth, huh? You want to get involved in my business? Worry about how I am as a tag team partner, huh? Look at you, out on your ass right now. No tag team partner to save you, huh? We're both in the same situation, Gargano, but you think you're better than me. Learn from that." And then Gargano's obviously being helped to the back by doctors after Angelo Dawkins' big assault here tonight. Then we cut to Candice and Dakota in their locker room again. You know, Dakota, she's changed. She's out of her ring gear now. Candice is still in hers. And she's like, "Oh my god, you're never going to believe what..." You know, Ember Moon came up to me before, and then she sort of like stops half mid-sentence and sees what happens to her guy and goes, "Oh my god, Johnny." I'm sorry, I've gotta go see if he's okay. And she rushes out of the locker room. Dakota, just sitting in her sofa when we hear a knock at the door. It's like, it's open. Why'd you forget? And then, like, we hear the door open and somebody walks in, but the camera doesn't show who it is. And obviously Dakota just thinks it's Candace. He goes, why'd you forget? Is Johnny okay? He stands up, just stops talking. And then it's Io. And they just stare down for a couple of seconds. And Io says, I have nobody else. I don't need a friend. I don't want a friend. I need a partner. You, the worst times of your life, because of them. Do you want to sit back, do nothing? Or do you want to get revenge? And then she just turns around and leaves, slams the door shut. And we pan on Dakota's face for a couple of seconds, taking in those words from Io. Next week is the go-home show for Survivor Series for the SmackDown brand, and we do have a couple of big matches set for that show, including a United States Championship main event as Sami Zayn makes the next defense of his championship as he takes on Ricochet, the Hurt Business's resident geek, who attacked him backstage last week. And the Hurt Business have been on quest for gold recently. Ricochet could be the first to bring gold into the group next week when he takes on Sami Zayn. Plus, speaking of the Hurt Business's quest for gold, they could be one step closer to the WWE Tag Team Championships. As Shark KO, the Hurt Business, and the Motor City Machine Guns will face off in a triple threat tag team match, with the winners earning a shot at Pretty Deadly's WWE Tag Team Championships. Plus, we don't know who's in it, but the Queendom Civil War Games Advantage match will also take place on next week's episode of SmackDown. 24 hours before the big match in Detroit. We're going to find out who will get the advantage in that match. Then cut back to the locker room. Candace opens. We get a shot of the door. We open the door. Candace gets in there. She just gets in there and takes a sit down. She goes, "Oh my god, what a night, huh? Roller coaster of a night." Lucky they checked on Johnny. They reckon he's got a couple of knocks, but he should be okay. So it's nothing serious, So it's fine. Do you want to head out? And then she turns around. There's nobody in the locker room. She goes, "Dakota, where you at?" And she looks at the table. There's a note left on the table. And she sort of picks it up, reads it. Looks confused. And, her eyes widen. And she drops it. And she's like, you always are so confusing. I don't get why it is this time. And she leaves. And then, obviously, the camera pans back down. And the note, of course, reads, "It's the only way." Then cut to Gorilla. Queendom Omega in Gorilla. Cammy with Saya, mainly in the front. Utami by her side. All the others in the back. She goes, "Well, here it is. Okay. 8 days. Civil war goes down between Queendom. I should be proud. A proud mother, my 2 babies going at each other inside of a double cage. But I unfortunately have to be the bearer of bad news. Because there isn't going to be a Queendom Civil War Games. Because there's not going to be a Queendom Alpha. Last week, Saya Kamatani, the Dark Phoenix right here, Utami Hayashishita's right-hand woman, her best friend in the whole world, had Io Sky almost seeing the lights, choked her within an inch of her life. For the second time, since coming into contact with Queendom Omega, Io's been left in a similar position. But you think we're going to stop tonight? You think the job's done just because War Games is set to take place? You're a woman down. There's nobody you can find that wants to team with you. It's all us. Main event time. 77. I knew this was actually, as a funny story I do want to get into here as well. I knew this was going to be weaker because Saya's not over and Io's working through a bruised pectoral muscle. Your next question will be, well, when the fuck did that happen? She hasn't wrestled a match in SummerSlam. I got an email from a house show like 2 days before the SmackDown where I was going to bring her back, and it just said Io Sky injured, and I nearly had a heart attack, but it was just a bruised pectoral. It'll be gone by the time we get to War Games. So like that was, my life flashed before my eyes there, but she worked through it. She still got a 78 even though she was working injured, and she does pick up the win with the moonsault in 13:07. 78 for Io, 55 for Saya. And yeah, Io celebrates after the match when, of course, she's jumped again by Queendom Omega. Another Queendom 5-on-4 assault. Very similar to the assault last week. You know, Saya goes under the ring, she pulls the chain out again, and she's getting ready to choke the life out of Io. You know, she starts whacking her with the chain. The crowd's stirring, you know, because they expect somebody to come out here. And Saya, you know, wraps the chain around her fist, hits her with the chain, hands the chain off to Utami, and Utami goes to wrap it around Io's throat. Right out from the back of the steel chair rushes Dakota Kai. She gets into the ring, she uses the chair, she wails on Saya, sends her packing to the outside, starts wailing on the back of the Megasis. Kairi and Asuka, they get to their feet. They double team the Megasis, send her to the outside. Kairi does a big insane elbow off the top to the Megasis on the outside. Asuka and Julia brawl off. Ember and Yoko brawl off. And then in the ring, it's Utami, Dakota, face to face. They start exchanging big forearms. And then eventually Dakota Kai does get her up for the go-to kick. And Cammy pulls her off Dakota's shoulders and scurries her out of the ring. And, you know, Dakota's left standing, but there is still one other person left in the ring. And she slowly turns around. And she's face to face with Io. Io looks at her confused, sort of in shock that she came. And Dakota, you can see, like, we get a shot of her face, like, for the next couple of seconds. You can see, like, there's pain in her eyes. She's really contemplating what she's about to do next. And then she does offer a handshake out to Io. Like, as she does it, you can see, like, regret in her eyes the second she does it. And Io sort of just looks down at her hand. And, like, wags her finger, like, back and forth, like, not yet. And walks off and leaves Dakota hanging. $77, sure. I thought this show was really good personally, but the game obviously didn't rate it as highly as I did because of the way TEW works. But yeah, what matters more obviously than both of those thoughts is what you thought of the show. Do let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you on the other side for Velocity, the final show before the big triple championship episode of Velocity next week. Oh my goodness, okay. Very simple episode of Velocity this week. Our 3 matches are going to be the 3 singles matches featuring the competitors in the Trio Championship match next week. And we also have a contract signing for the Cruiserweight Championship match between Angel Garza and Cedric Alexander. So yes. The first match is Dudley facing Santos Escobar in an 87. Dudley picks up the win with the Dudley device in 14:35. 89 for Dudley, 67 for Santos Escobar. I didn't expect that to do that well. My mind immediately went to do Roosh versus Dudley because, of course, they're the top guys of both sides, performance-wise. But I'm glad I did this, actually, because it gives Santos a nice match. So, yeah. Nice win for Dudley. And then get an 80. Yeah, this is second because I assumed it would be the weakest. It's Leslie Young against Jorge Santana. And now I'm seeing this match. I'm going to have to back out because I'm pretty sure I booked Leslie Young against Rouge as well. And that means he'd be working twice. So, yeah, I'll fix that in a minute. But yeah, Jorge Santana defeats Leslie Young in 13:46. 75 for Santana, 65 for Leslie Young. And then cut backstage. It's one of those backstage contract signings. RJ City's with the Cruiserweight Champion, the Cruiserweight Classic, Cedric Alexander, and his challenger, Angel Garza. And RJ goes, Garza, back in Auckland, you had your chance to take the Cruiserweight Championship from Cedric Alexander, and you came up short on that night. Okay, what is it that you think's changed in the week since that you think you can now go what it takes to dethrone Cedric Alexander? And Garza goes, Cedric cheated in Auckland. He thinks he's the greatest Cruiserweight Champion here, but he knew he couldn't beat me fair and square. Next week, he can try, but I'll be expecting that. And when he fails to cheat, and he's left one-on-one in the ring with me, I'll be the new Cruiserweight Champion. Cedric just laughs. He goes, You must be high, old man. Listen here. Garza, I didn't cheat to beat you because I had to. I cheated to beat you because I wanted to. Like, I understand why people look down on me, okay? Everything I do because I'm great. Okay? The more I cheat to win, the more it infuriates guys like you who don't think I deserve to be champion. When I know damn well I do deserve to be champion because I'm the best damn wrestler in this division. I just do it because it's fun. And it pisses guys like you off. But since you're clearly so bitter about it, and you've got this vendetta that you're better than me, you'll have my word. Next week, the Cruiserweight Classic, Cedric Alexander, I'll wrestle fair and square, and the best man will win. And that's when you'll learn the best man is me. 77 rated main event. Somehow Dudley and Santos got better. Okay, Rouge is obviously kind of off because he only got to 74. Maybe Dudley's just that much better than him. I didn't know. I thought Rouge was like sick. But he beats Tristan Ellison 16:08 with La Lanza. 61 for Tristan Ellison, 74 for Rouge. So yeah, LA Extreme do win the singles matches here. But will that be the case when it's a triple threat, a trios match next week? I have to wait and find out for that big triple championship episode of Velocity. And also there's a funniness because there's a title match on Heat next week as well. So yeah, cool. But that ends Velocity. 78 rated show actually gets one better than SmackDown. But yeah, what matters more is what you thought of the show, mainly of SmackDown. I'll see you next time for episode 69, where it will be the go-home show for Raw for Survivor Series. We continue the Women's Intercontinental Climax. We got more CM Punk-related bullshit. Cody Rhodes, Bronson Steiner will be back, and a whole lot more. See you then.